Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Old Time Rock and Roll. I'm your host, David Tear, where I've been featuring my personal top 3,000 songs of the rock era from 1954 to 1999. And today I'm up to song number 2712, and that one is Radio Gaga by Queen. This was featured on their album called The Works, which came out in 1984. And I believe Radio Gaga went to number 16. Um, and I guess here's a picture of the band Queen. I think most of you guys are probably familiar with them. They were a very successful British hard rock band. They had several big hits and also a lot of classic rock songs. I'll get into them a little bit later. First, I want to talk a little bit about the song Radio Gaga. I remember when the video came out. Pretty impressive video. I mean, they used a lot of scenes from this very famous classic sci-fi film from 1927. It was actually a German sci-fi film, silent film, because they didn't have talkies yet. But it was made in 1927, and this is a movie I would highly recommend you guys see if you haven't already. Pretty amazing to me that they made it so long ago. I mean, the special effects still look pretty amazing. Even though it was made in the 1920s, they show flying spaceships, they show this big, huge city. I mean, it looks a little primitive by today's standards, but for what was available at the time, pretty damn amazing. They also have robots, and they have just a lot of kind of amazing cinematography and scenery, and it's a good story too. So it is a movie I would highly recommend. But anyway, they did sample this movie on their video for Radio Gaga, which I think is a very good song as well. And I guess I didn't even really know what the song was about when I first heard it. Apparently, I guess it was a little bit like "Video Killed the Radio Star." It was kind of a commentary by their drummer. I guess that was John Deacon. He was commenting that that radio wasn't when they made the song in 1984. Radio was not what it used to be, in his opinion. I mean, I guess he was referring to the golden age of radio before television, when they had it wasn't just like songs on the radio or news or whatever we got listening used to listening to with radio after television. But I mean, it used to be kind of like television. It was the main source of entertainment for families. You had a big radio at home, and you'd listen to all these shows, drama shows, comedy shows, whatever, you name it. I mean, I guess almost like movies, movie plots, were cited on TV. I wasn't alive at that time, but I kind of know what it was like. My mom used to talk about it a lot. Also, I think when she was a teenager, she even starred in a few local radio shows. So I kind of know what it was like. There was also a very good movie by Woody Allen called Radio Days. I think it came out in 1986. So I know all about the golden age of radio. But, you know, it's easy to get nostalgic about things. I mean, you know, but I think things are getting better and better in general. I mean, of course, there's always setbacks, but there was a very good movie by Woody Allen called Midnight in Paris, where kind of the theme of the movie was that golden age thinking is flawed. That sure, we all want to live in a golden age, like Woody Allen in the movie wanted to live in Paris in the 1920s, but there was also a Belle Epic in the 1890s, and you know. He finally concludes that was a flaw in his thinking. That every time was as good as any other time. As a matter of fact, things seem to be getting better and better. It's just that we kind of long for things we're nostalgic from the past. Anyway, enough of that. But I think it's a pretty cool video. I didn't know what the song was about when I first heard it, but I did like the video, mainly because of how they sampled the movie in Metropolis video. I didn't even know about that movie when the video came out. I thought Queen had done all the cinematography themselves, but then at the very end they said thanks to Metropolis. I didn't even know what Metropolis was. I thought it was a joke. Kind of like Hold On Tight, the song I featured yesterday, which had fake, kind of fake sci-fi thriller movies from the 1930s. Those were fake. So, for all I knew, Queen faked Metropolis as well, but they didn't. But anyway, enough of that. Now I guess I want to talk about the band Queen. Queen was, like I said, a very successful British band. They got started in 1970 in London. They're still around, although they lost, their main member, the lead singer, Freddie Mercury. He died. I don't know exactly what year he died. I think around 1990, something like that. Very tragic. But they were a really good band, and the original lineup they're shown here. Well, it included Freddie Mercury, he was the lead vocalist. Brian May, he was on lead guitar, also did vocals. I think they all did vocals. Roger Taylor was the drummer, and John Deacon joined in 1971. He was the bassist. So, and they all sang. And I think they're a great band. I'm just going to go through their hits. Their first hit, I'm going to go through their American hits. Their first hit in the USA was Killer Queen. That went to number 12. That came out in 1974. Then in 76, they had Bohemian Rhapsody, which is probably their best known song. That went to number 9. That one got kind of immortalized by the movie Wayne's World. If you haven't seen that, I highly recommend it. And then later that year, they had You're My Best Friend, which went to number 16, and Somebody to Love, which went to number 29, I believe. In 1977, they had um, Tie Your Mother Down, which went to 74, I believe. 1978, they had We Are the Champions, which went to number 4. Sometimes you hear that along with the flip side, We Will Rock You. Both excellent songs. Then they had It's Late, which went to 74. They had another double-sided hit, Bicycle Race and Fat Bottom Girls, which went to number 24. In 1979, they had Don't Stop Me Now, which went to like I think 23 or something. And then 1980, they had the first number 1, Crazy Little Thing Called Love. That was kind of a throwback to rockabilly from the 1950s. Really excellent song. Later that year, they had Play the Game, which went to, I think, 42. And then they had their second number 1, Another One Bites the Dust, another classic. That one went to number 1. And then they had Need Your Loving Tonight, which went to 44, and Flash, which went to 42. In 1981, they had Under Pressure. That was along with David Bowie. That went to number 29. Then they had Body Language, which went to number 11. In 1982, they had Calling All Girls, which went to number 60. In 1984, they had the song I'm featuring today, Radio Gaga, which went to number 16. I Want to Be Free, which went to number 45. And It's a Hard Life, which went to number 72. In 1985, they had One Vision, which went to number 61. In 1986, they had A Kind of Magic, which went to number 42. And finally, in 1989, they had I Want It All, which went to number 50. So, very, very successful band. And, I think most of the songs I mentioned are on my list. A lot of songs by Queen are on my list. So, you'll see a lot more Queen. One of my favorite bands of all time. Anyway, that concludes my feature on Radio Gaga by Queen. Thank you for watching. You guys rock, and I'll see you next time. Bye.